Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. So, one of the big daddies is coming out today on Global Dokkan. This is the 5th anniversary Blue Gogeta EZA. I do think that the EZAs for Blue Vegito and Blue Gogeta are some of the smartest things that Dokkan has ever done. They took some of the most popular characters ever, and they essentially placed them at like a top 5 level. What spot you have them in is kind of like not really relevant, but they are just like top 5 level, right? Which I think matters quite a bit. Now, Blue Gogeta and Blue Vegito, functionally, they pretty much have the same kits. It's really only in blue that they have differences. They actually are the exact same in base. I guess besides Link's, where Gogeta probably wins out, because Gogeta's Link set in base here. He has Sand Warrior Race. He has, what is this? That's Fuse Fighter. Then he has Prepare for Battle, Over in a Flash, Kamehameha, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power, right? But the fact that he has Prepare for Battle and Over in a Flash obviously is very good. Now, when he transforms into Blue Gogeta, unfortunately, he does lose Prepared for Battle, but it definitely is very nice that he does have Prepare for Battle in base. It's something that can be helpful. Now, typically what you're going to want to do with Blue Gogeta and Blue Vegito both in base is you're going to want to float them off on their first turn. They're not really super crazy if you just leave them on rotation. Like, we can get away with it here, you know, for the showcase and stuff like that. But, like, if we're going to fight, you know, Sin Shenron or Red Zone Broly or, like, one of these really tough bosses, you probably do want to float them off. Broly's not a great example since he cancels dodge. And so much what the Blue Fusions do relies around dodge. But you guys get what I'm saying there. Alright, so let's do this. We'll put Gogeta in the middle slot right here. We'll be able to get Gogeta quite a bit of ki. Gogeta gets 4 ki when attacking. And then on his 18 and 12 ki super attack effects, Gogeta is going to be stacking his attack. So we have everything activated except for Over in a Flash and Fuse Fighter. And we will be able to do some decent damage right here. Gogeta has several different 200% teams. He's on Beast Gohan's 200%. He's on Orange Piccolo's 200%. The Tech Carnival Goku, the LR Gods, and then the LR Super Saiyan 4s. So, there are several 200% leader skills we can rock Gogeta on. 6.15 he gets up to. Remember that every super attack he does stack attack. In slot 1 or 2, he has an additional, has a 70% chance to be a super. Looks like we did indeed get the chance to be a super. We got that. And then we could still do the hidden potential system additional as well, which we did, but it was unfortunately only a normal. Now, Gogeta in slot 3, he's going to have a 70% chance to dodge, but he doesn't have a chance to dodge in slot 1 or 2. So that's why typically in a lot of these fights, you are going to want to just float him off in base and then let him return once he's in blue fusion form, right? Like if you get him turn 1, you just float him off and he's going to come back to you right, you know, when he's transformed into his blue state, which is good, right? Blue Gogeta, Blue Vegito, they are ridiculously, utterly, insanely dominant characters, right? It's like if we go start to finish, I mean, with Vegito, now that we're going to transform into Blue Gogeta in this next turn, I do have a little bit of a gripe with Blue Gogeta, but Blue Vegito, I mean, his EZA is essentially perfect. I mean, I am the king of being able to just point, like, yeah, you know, the kid is good, but, like, this thing right here could be a little different, or, you know, they could certainly, you know, change this a little bit, and the unit would be a little bit more smooth. Gogeta, unfortunately, does have a little bit we could talk about with that. All right, so let's go and transform. Animations, of course, are incredible. I do like what they decided to do here. In the movie, this is where Gogeta goes Super Saiyan, but they kind of just made it him transforming into blue. I think it does work quite well. Okay, so now we're on this rotation. Oh, this is so good. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, yeah, this is fantastic right here. The first turn in blue, we have a guaranteed 100% chance to dodge. So this is exactly what you want to see right here. A turn like this. This is just too good, too good. I guess we'll just do this. We'll keep him around, and then we can just we'll float. Yeah, this will work better for us. All right, now Gogeta. He has his guaranteed dodge. He gets 150% attack and defense at the start of turn. He gets 5 ki and 2 additionals, each of which has a medium chance of being a super. And he's super effective in slots 1 or 2. So that's kind of the difference between Gogeta and Vegito, is Vegito is very effortlessly shooting out 4 super attacks. With Gogeta, that's not going to happen, because he has these additionals that have a medium chance of being a super. Now, if we continue just, skipping to the last part of his passive, Gogeta does guaranteed crits when he does his active, or if ki is 24 or more. So Gogeta probably does have higher potential than Vegito. Like, if Gogeta, the best he could do is he could quad super. If he quad supers at 24 ki and they're all guaranteed crits, right? Like, that's, bosses are not living that. But it's just very easy for Vegito to shoot out 4 super attacks every single turn. And Gogeta, it's very common, in my experience, for Gogeta to super normal, normal, normal. That's like a very common occurrence for me, unfortunately. Then Gogeta in slot 3 gets 7 ki additional super, and then a 70% chance to dodge enemy attacks. And then he builds up 1 ki up to a max of 5 and 22% attack and defense up to a max of 88% with each attack performed. Okay, ki is not really the greatest on this turn right here, but that's totally okay. We'll be able to survive with that. All right, so let's see what Gogeta looks like. Remember that he does need to do 4 attacks again to fully build up. Looks like we're actually going to be at, we're going to be at 17 ki right here, huh? Yeah, we are. That's unfortunate, because on his 18 ki super attack effect, Gogeta gets 50% defense for 3 turns. Okay, there's a normal. Then there's another normal. And then that's the hidden potential system additional super attack right there. So the 2 guaranteed additionals he has in his passive were all normals for us, which, again, is a very common occurrence. This is why, to me, it's very obvious and clear that Vegito is a little bit better. I mean, I don't think it's the biggest deal ever. The kits for the characters are almost entirely the same. And a lot of times, I mean, Vegito-Gogeta wars is a thing in the Dragon Ball community. I typically don't step my toes into. They're the same damn character to me. Vegito-Gogeta, they're both tied as peak. They're the same character, right? But right here, just Vegito with his guaranteed supers, to me, is a bit stronger because it's stronger defensively, right? Both Vegito and Gogeta have the same super attack effects, which is their 18 ki gives them 50% defense for 3 turns, and then their 12 ki gives them 50% attack and defense for 1 turn. So Vegito doing guaranteed, 4 super attacks, or, well, I mean, it's typical. A lot of times it's going to be guaranteed 3, and then you got a good chance for more. But him doing that means, you're very often going to be, he's, okay, 50% defense, and then 50% defense, and then 50% defense, and then 50% defense. And all of a sudden, you're cooking, right? Whereas with Gogeta, it's like 50% defense, and then nothing, 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 as you normal, right? That's, to me, the difference between them. But Gogeta probably, again, has a higher ceiling if you've got the 24 ki, and you're just able to roll out, like, a full barrage of guaranteed crits. Like, yeah, you're probably going to be cooking. All right, this is good. Looks like we're going to be able to get Gogeta's active on this next rotation as well. Gogeta, of course, has the same active skill condition as Blue Vegito, which is the turn after. So it can't be the same turn you first transform into Blue. It's got to be at least a turn after you transform into Blue. And then if the enemy is 50% HP or under, you'll be able to pop the active skill, which is going to be death for a lot of, and it does a lot of damage. And then remember, I mean, doing the active skill activates their full passive. So for Vegito, it gives him his additional super, and for Gogeta, it gives him the guaranteed crits. So we're looking pretty good. We are looking quite scrumptious, I would have to say. Yup, let's just go ahead and pop this out. This is all 7 links activated. He's at 372. We haven't been able to do his 18 ki super attack yet, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and pop this. This should kill Cell. I cannot imagine Cell is going to live this right here. Easy peasy, and then there's the iconic KO screen right there. Just so good. So good, so good. They really did, chef something up nasty when they got the KO screens for both of the Blue Fusions on those active skills right there. Monster W. So for the most part, I mean, we pretty much do see what the Blue Fusions have to offer us, right? Like, that does show a lot of what Gogeta could do. At this point, remember, I mean, we fully built up Gogeta his first turn, right? It's 22% attack and defense per attack. We did 4 attacks right away. And then the active skill, that's the 5th attack. That would have given him that last key he needed, right? Because remember, that's one big thing that happens, is that the active skill attack always counts. Like, if a character has to do super attacks to build up or attacks to build up, any active skill attacks they have would qualify as giving them that. So that's something that's very important to keep in mind. All right, so we got another very strong rotation. Is this all 7? No, everything is going to be activated except for Kamehameha. We do not have Kamehameha up right here. Okay, that's fine. We can hit this right here. Then we can hit this. That's going to be guaranteed 24 key. Everything except for Kamehameha. Defense is 310. But again, remember, we haven't done Gogeta's 18 key super attack effect yet. That is pretty important, right? Because that gives him the 50% defense for 3 turns. Now, typically, I would recommend... you know, outside of your first turn of guaranteed dodge, you probably do want to float the blue fusions a lot of times. I feel like you're going to be a little bit more safe doing that. 14.2 right there, perfect. Now remember, this is a guaranteed crit. So every attack he does is a guaranteed crit. Even his normals are probably going to hit quite hard with guaranteed crits. And most bosses are not going to be able to survive a barrage like this. Yep, even 2.62. And he gave us 3 out of 4 super attack. That was a really good turn for Gogeta. Like, that's kind of the best of what you could expect right there. 3 supers, and we did get the hidden potential system additional as well. That was a pretty good display, I would say. Okay, so on the next turn, we'll have the full blue fusion lineup, huh? I think I'm just going to cut real quick. I'm going to orange pickle it up, and we'll just get to that blue fusion lineup against Cell at the end. Alright, so let's go ahead and get one final rotation in for our boy Blue Gogeta. Again, this is going to be everything but Legendary Power, or Kamehameha, yeah, just like last turn. Okay. So now notice he's up to 465. Yeah, that's what happens when he has the stack. And then remember, every super attack you do is giving you 50% defense. So he could get to a real healthy level if he gives us several super attacks. It pretty much the way it's going to work best for you, though, is if you are floating. I think both of the 5th anniversary Blue Fusions, after you utilize their turn of guaranteed dodge, probably just floating them would be the smartest way to go about them. Vegito especially is able to get to a very comfortable, like, million defense, sort of like, he's always going to be right on a million defense, right? It's going to be a very common thing. Gogeta, there's a lot more RNG for how many additionals you're going to do. So, you know, putting him in slot 3 for Gogeta gives you a guaranteed additional super. He doesn't have guaranteed additional supers in slot 1 or 2, but he does in slot 3 plus the dodge. So Gogeta, I do feel like you are, like, wanting to lock him into slot 3 pretty often. Because there's a normal, there's another normal. They're all are guaranteed crits. So he's still, notice, those 3 normals did like 6 million damage from 3 normal attacks. He's still ridiculously powerful, but it's just he's losing out on all the 50% defensive buffs, right? Like, look, dude, Gogeta's normal is doing as much damage as LR Vegito Blue's super attack, basically, right? Like, it's crazy, it's crazy. But there we go. There is EZA 5th anniversary Blue Gogeta. Ridiculously silly character. Both him and Vegito, they're the best EZAs ever. They're stunning, they're incredible, they're jaw-dropping.